What's up, guys? Mickle here, and John Deaton was one of the first prominent lawyers following the Ripple SEC case who thought that this case would end in a settlement. But guys, just today, it looks like John Deaton has changed his mind and no longer thinks that the SEC versus Ripple case will end in a settlement. Guys, in this video, I want to go over what changed John Deaton's mind that just happened. We're going to break down whether or not I think John Deaton is correct in changing his mind in this decision. Guys, there are some very interesting things going on behind the scene right now in the Ripple SEC case. In this video, I want to talk about that and how it's going to impact the final decision. Guys, make sure to stick around for that. We're also going to talk about current market conditions as well as some very interesting things happening with Tether right now. Guys, you are definitely going to want to see that, so make sure to stick around. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things are going to go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description below. Uphold is the best place to buy and sell XRP. With that said though, guys, let's jump right into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, happy new year to everyone out there, and thank you so much for helping to support this channel. I really couldn't have done this without you guys. I love making these videos, and it makes me so happy that you guys enjoy them too. So thank you so much for all your support. 2023 will be the year we get a decision in the Ripple SEC case. I know a lot of people were expecting a decision in 2022, and guys, that includes Brad Garlinghouse and the Ripple team. No one expected this case to drag out so long. It has lasted forever. But guys, we should understand that 2023 will be the year we do get a decision in this case. Regardless if it goes to summary judgment or the case settles, almost every major lawyer following this case does think we will see a resolution to the case in 2023. And that should already make 2023 a better year than 2022. Now guys, 2022 was a brutal year. The cryptocurrency market fell off a cliff. The stock market fell off a cliff. Pretty much everything went down. It was a horrible year, but the best part about that is it's over with. Guys, we will have better days ahead of us, and I know it seems like sometimes this kind of stuff goes on forever. It's never going to end. We're never going to see bullish price action in the crypto market again. Guys, luckily for us, that's just not how it works. Eventually, we will work our way out of this. And guys, the fact of the matter is the worst of these days are likely behind us. And just be thankful that you made it this far. Guys, you probably made it through the worst part. There's no way to say that for sure. But 2023 is looking like it does hold a lot of potential, especially because we will have the decision in the Ripple SEC case. And it looks like the Fed will likely be done hiking rates, which will allow a lot more capital to flow back into cryptocurrencies. Not a lot of people understand that the main reason we are in a bear market right now, it doesn't have to do with 4-year cycles. It has to do with the fact that the Federal Reserve is absolutely clamping down on markets all over the world. And guys, cryptocurrencies were never going to survive that. The entire stock market is falling off a cliff. And if we want to see positive price action in any market right now, we really need the Federal Reserve to slow down. Well guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you some very positive signs that show that the Federal Reserve is likely going to be slowing down, if not reversing courses. And guys, this is a very good sign for the markets and something we need to see. I want to start off this video though and go over something pretty interesting, and this is something I have been thinking about for a while now. This was tweeted out by whalechart.org. Short positions against Tether rise. Institutional investors are betting against Tether USDT. Now guys, this is pretty interesting because this seems like a pretty smart trade to me. You have very little risk that Tether is going to go above $1. That's just likely never going to happen. But I think the chance that Tether goes to 0 is actually pretty high. Governments all over the world have come out and said that they are very skeptical of Tether, and they have pretty much alluded to the fact that the cryptocurrency industry needs to weed out bad players like Tether. Now guys, I think it's pretty much impossible to say whether Tether is going to death spiral and go to 0, something like a Terra Luna, or it's just going to be regulated out of existence, but either way, it's starting to really look like there is a lot of skepticism from governments all over the world against Tether. And guys, the fact of the matter is, now it looks like markets are starting to turn against Tether as well. After I saw that, I took a look at what was happening with the Tether peg, and guys, as of recently, the Tether peg just hasn't looked that great. We've had these sharp spikes that look like it could fall off a cliff and go to zero, and then it recovers but doesn't fully recover, then it spikes down again and doesn't fully recover, and it looks like we could be prepared to do another spike down. Now guys, everyone has been fudding Tether forever now. Everyone says Tether is going to go to zero. It never does. It's a fool's game to try to be the person to try to call Tether going to zero. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be careful of this thing. Guys, everything I have seen out of Tether has been very sketchy. I am shocked it's not already at zero. But either way, it's survived a long time, so it's not something you want to be calling, but it's still something we have to keep our eye on. Guys, I have a feeling one of these days, Tether's going to rip down on one of these spikes and it's not going to recover. And it's mainly going to be because almost every single government in the world and almost every single market player is against Tether. They have very little support out there. And guys, they just seem like the kind of player that's ultimately going to be regulated out of existence. Now, if this happens, this could be the capitulation moment in the cryptocurrency market. Tether could be that last domino to fall before we finally reverse course. Either way, though, it's pretty interesting and something I'm watching closely. So guys, now I want to move on and talk about something pretty interesting, and that is why John Deaton no longer thinks the Ripple SEC case is going to settle. Now guys, John Deaton put out this massive tweet thread, but I'm going to try to summarize essentially what he is thinking here, because I think it's pretty interesting, and I think he has some very important points here. Essentially, what John Deaton is saying is that the main reason why he thought this case was going to settle was because of the Hinman emails. Now, what John Deaton is thinking now, after looking over a lot of the different documents that Ripple submitted in regards to the Hinman emails, what John Deaton is saying is that the Hinman emails might not have been as bad as he originally thought. John Deaton no longer thinks that XRP was actually mentioned in the Hinman emails, and he also doesn't think there's anything in the Hinman emails that the SEC is going to be that scared of being made public. He seems to think that the worst thing that could happen to the SEC if the emails do become public is that other cryptocurrency companies could ultimately use those emails, but John Deaton also makes another very important point here. The Hinman emails don't actually do much for the case of whether or not XRP is a security. Guys, regardless of whether or not Bill Hinman was corrupted when he was working at the SEC, the fact of the matter is that just doesn't change the fact of whether XRP is a security or not. If Tesla's stock was being debated right now, is that a security or not? It wouldn't matter if Bill Hinman was corrupted at the SEC. The fact of the matter is it's completely independent on the security status of the instrument. Guys, XRP is not a security, and to be frank, it really doesn't matter what Hinman thinks. He could have been wrong, he could have been right, he could have had no idea what he was talking about. The fact of the matter is, it only matters whether or not XRP fits the definition of what a security is. Now, XRP doesn't, and that's why I'm so confident in this case. There's no investment contract. I don't have any rights to Ripple, the company, because I own XRP, and that's why XRP is not a security, and it doesn't matter what Hinman said when he was at the SEC. Now, John Deaton thinks this is the main reason why the Hinman emails aren't going to be as significant as a lot of people thought they were going to be. Judge Torres doesn't even have to really look at these emails based on how this case is set up right now. The fact of the matter is, Judge Torres can make a decision on XRP, and it could have nothing to do with what Hinman ever thought. She could simply say, okay, well, XRP is not a security because of this reason, and this reason, and it's just looking at what XRP is today. It has nothing to do with what the SEC thought 5 years ago. It has nothing to do with some emails Bill Hinman was sending around, because they don't impact the status of XRP itself. Now guys, with all that being said, the Hinman emails still have a very large role in this case, just not on the actual status of XRP and whether it's a security. The Bill Hinman emails become very significant on Ripple's fair notice. Should Ripple have known that they were selling an asset that the SEC could have considered a security? This is where the emails are critical, but this whole part of the case might not be that important if Ripple ends up winning outright and XRP straight up not a security. Because then fair notice doesn't matter, Ripple never violated the law. Fair notice only really matters, and the Hinman emails are only relevant to fair notice, so the fair notice defense and the Hinman emails are only really relevant if Ripple loses and XRP is deemed a security. The next question from there is, should Ripple have known that XRP was a security? And that's when the Hinman emails come back into play and become very significant again. Because if Hinman was running around telling different market participants, hey, this isn't a security, this is a security, if the SEC had emails saying, oh, well, it's actually pretty hard to tell when something's a security versus when it isn't a security, well, guys, this is fair notice gold for Ripple, and this would show, hey, they likely had no idea whether or not XRP was a security because the SEC themselves had no idea. So guys, what John Deaton is saying here is there is a very good chance that this case could resolve and we could never hear about the Hinman emails again. If Ripple wins outright and XRP is deemed not a security by Judge Torres, guys, we will likely never have to hear about the Hinman emails, and that's what John Deaton is saying here. Now, guys, I totally get what John Deaton's saying here, and I really do agree with him about 80% of the way here. There is some small stipulations where I do think a settlement could work out, and I've talked about that in another video. Essentially, what would happen would be that Judge Torres would make a final ruling, and the SEC would say, okay, we don't really like that Judge Torres said the emails would be made public in this final ruling. Ripple, will you settle with us, and then we'll promise to never sue you again? Essentially, in that case, we did go all the way to summary judgment, but then at summary judgment, we got a settlement. This is something Attorney Fred actually proposed, and I think either John Deaton or Attorney Fred are going to end up being right here. The SEC is incentivized to go all the way to summary judgment here because the fact of the matter is there are case scenarios that could happen where the SEC could lose this case and don't even have to disclose the Hinman emails. Now, guys, with all that said, I want to move on and finish off with a pretty significant market event. And now, guys, this is very important for the other part of 2023 because even if Ripple wins big and XRP is deemed not a security, guys, if the Federal Reserve is putting interest rates at 10-15%, none of it's going to matter. We're going to be in a depression. I just wanted to show you this, guys. This is one of the most important things that's happening in the market right now. We see supply chains easing big time. This is the cost of moving freight, and guys, it is dropping off a cliff. It's down 80%. Guys, this will lead to disinflation because moving goods all around the world is going to become much cheaper, and this is going to help bring down inflation and allow the Federal Reserve to stop hiking interest rates. Guys, this is another great sign that 2023 is going to be better than 2022. Guys, if the Fed starts cutting rates, when we get a win in the Ripple case and XRP is deemed not a security, guys, we are going to have some very good days ahead of us. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.